Hey guys, welcome to the second episode of the Unheard Voices podcast. My guest here today is Maria Jesus Sanhueza, who is an aspiring CSCB student majoring in criminal justice, and she's a part-time passionate babysitter. Um, and she also goes by Tutu as her nickname, by the way. So, Tutu,
Yes.
uh, so where are you originally from? We'll start there.
I was born and raised in Chile, which is a very long country. I think it's the longest country. I don't know if in South America or the world, but it's very long and it's like at the end of South America.
Yeah, I just read that it's like 2,700 miles and like
Yeah, it's
so it's
really
along the
long,
coast
and
of
we
South
have
America,
like literally like all the ocean, like
uh,
the Pacific.
the
It's
Pacific
like all
Ocean.
on our side.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have also like
And I
a
think
bunch of earthquakes. I don't know if you read about that.
right.
Yeah.
I think I also read that it's like the closest country to Antarctica, I
Yeah,
believe.
we do have a
So
part of it too.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty crazy.
It is. Yeah, the stations over there, like the station, is very the weather like, marked over there too. Like
mm,
you can tell whenever like it's very hot during the summer and very cold during the winter. It's just like
mm,
very like you can tell.
mm.
You know, yeah.
Okay, cool, cool,
It's a
cool.
very nice country. It's very pretty. Like it has everything. It has nice cities.
The
We
Andes
have
Mountains are there, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
We have I think the tallest building in South America.
Really?
Yeah. It's
What?
called Costanera Center, which is
Okay.
like half of it is a mall, and then the rest is their offices, and it has 62 floors.
Yikes.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's very nice.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Very cool. So, your childhood must have been pretty
yeah, it was
exciting then, right?
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
How long did you stay there before you came here?
I lived there. Well, like I said, I was born there, and I moved to the United States when I was 13.
A
So I
teenager.
basically
Okay.
lived there for 13 years,
13 years.
and it was very nice because my dad has always worked in agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
So we were always just like basically all in nature. I
Oh,
lived,
nice. Nice.
we lived, we didn't live in the city. We lived away from the city, and it was pretty
The
nice
rural
because,
area?
yeah,
Okay.
we lived in a field. Well, it was our house like in a little corner, and then the rest was the field. And
Mm.
we had blueberries, so it was pretty nice to just like during the summer just go and pick them.
Yeah,
So
seriously.
yeah, and like we just basically lived outside. We had horses, we had a bunch of dogs, and
It's like
yeah, I even
almost like
know
the
how to.
wildlife a little bit.
How is it?
Like the wildlife a little bit.
Um,
Are you like are surrounded by the forest a little bit or?
well, yes and no, because it was a field, it
Mm-hmm.
had to be like maintained a certain way
Mm.
because like they were growing blueberries.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
did have a
Right.
lot of plants and stuff because my parents just love having plants
Mm.
and trees and things. But
Mm.
yeah, it's very pretty like in general. Like we have a lot of like nice mountains and like just the views over there are crazy. Like I just love it. It's
Yeah.
super
Would
nice.
you ever go back?
I don't know if I would go back to live,
Mm-hmm.
but my family and I try to visit every year, like at least once
Yeah.
a year.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you have family there, I'm guessing, right? So
Yeah, my whole family's over there.
yeah.
I don't have family here. It's just my parents and my sisters are here, but then
Uh,
everybody else is over there.
mm.
Yeah.
So you go back and visit family and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Mhm.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So since you said you came here at 13,
Yes.
um, so how was that like process coming here?
It was very hard.
Hard?
Like, yeah, I didn't speak English.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't,
can imagine.
yeah,
Yeah.
not at all. It took me a while, and I was 13.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, like, I already had my friend group and everything. Like, I'm gonna tell you a story of how, like, I found out I was coming
Yeah, yeah. Let's
because
hear
it's
it.
pretty
Let's hear it.
interesting. I remember the dates and everything
Mm-hmm.
because I was gonna celebrate my birthday.
Okay.
So I was supposed to celebrate my birthday. It was August 13th of 2016.
Yeah.
And then the day before, which was the 12th,
Mm-hmm.
my parents called my sisters and I to the living room.
Okay.
And then we knew it was serious because they never really like did talks like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we all sat down and then my dad just started by saying like, I got a job offer
Mm-hmm.
in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And your guys' mom and I decided that we were gonna take it. So we're moving to the United States.
Oh, just like that.
Yeah, so we didn't even have a choice on it. Of course not. I mean,
Oh.
we were all minors. Like my oldest sister was 14, I was
Yeah.
13, and my little sister was 9.
Mm.
Or like, no, she was 8 at the time.
Okay.
Yeah. And so yeah, that's how I found out. And then the next day, um, my closest cousin is only a month younger than me, so we've always been really close.
Mm-hmm.
And she came because I was gonna celebrate my birthday, so she came earlier the next day.
Nice. Okay.
And I saw her, and we just like hugged each other and started crying because it was gonna be like the first time in our lives that we were gonna be separated. So it's just really
Yeah.
hard. And then 3 months after that, we moved here,
Mm.
and we didn't know anybody. I didn't speak the language. None of us did. Not even my parents spoke English. So it was very hard to like get used to it. I probably learned good English maybe 3 years in. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was
I
hard to
mean,
get used to it.
you managed to pull through though, because your English right now is very
Thank
well.
you.
Yeah, it's well spoken.
Yeah, thank you. I
So.
tried. I had to, and also like support towards my family
Mm-hmm.
because my older sister, she's very shy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So we knew that it was going to be very hard for her, but so I kind of had to step in a way
Mm-hmm.
to be like my parents' help. Like
Okay.
I was the one that helped. My little sister was just too young to do anything for my parents.
Okay.
She was the first one to learn English though, because at that age it's just like it comes very easy for you.
Okay.
And so I just had to step up and help my parents with everything. You know how some kids say whenever they're like 18, they're like, oh, I have to call and make an appointment for the doctor. Like, oh, I'm an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I
Yeah.
had to do that when I was
Oh.
very young.
So you kind of
Yeah.
grew up a little fast.
I did have to grow up faster. Yeah.
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 Oh man. Um. All right. Well. I guess what was like the hardest? Because that's what I'm a little curious about is how you would kind of adapt it so fast. Like how does some people like come here to the U.S. and never end up actually learning the language, for
Yeah.
example, right? And so um, how did you guys manage to just like uh, I guess adapt to like the
Yeah.
U.S. and the lifestyle
Um,
here?
so it was very hard, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
basically pushed myself for my family
Mm-hmm.
because
So
I kind of
you
think
kind of
of,
like put yourself out there.
yes,
Weren't afraid
for
to
them. Like
for
I
them.
tried, I
Okay.
was very afraid. Like I would cry every single morning before going to school. Like, and I'm a very social person. Like in
Damn.
Chile, I was just everybody knew me. I was very like I didn't have any problem. Like I actually liked going to school.
Mm-hmm. Oh, nice.
And
Yeah.
then I got here and it's just like I don't want to do this. And it was just like
You probably
I
like
didn't even have my sisters for support in like the
yeah.
school because the school system over here and over there they're very different. I
Yeah.
even went to a Catholic school in Chile.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was so in Chile schools are basically like elementary, middle school, and high school, they're
Okay.
all together. So you
All
basically just go
together.
to one school your whole life, unless
Oh,
you move
interesting.
or
Okay.
like any other circumstances.
Yeah.
But in Chile, I only went to one school my whole life. All of my friends
Mm.
were in that school. It was very like easy. My sisters were in that school. Like I would pick up my little sister when she was younger, and I would just like leave my classroom and go pick up my little sister. It was like
Ah.
that easy.
So it sounds like it was like a kind of small community oriented.
Yeah,
Um,
basically that's how schools were.
yeah,
Well, they still are.
yeah, sweet,
And
yeah.
yeah, and since I was young, because we also did kindergarten in that school too,
Mm,
so I had been with the same people my whole life.
yeah,
And then I
yeah.
just came here to like a whole different world because it wasn't
Little
like
culture shock, right?
yeah, because my dad like maybe like a month before we moved, he was like, "Oh yeah, you guys are all going to different schools." So it was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
wow, like that's crazy. Like it
So
had never happened.
would you say that like at times you felt like alone?
Yeah,
Well, most likely, right? Yeah.
yeah.
But at school specifically, you felt like
At school it was very hard. Like
yeah,
my first day of school, I was just like basically just I felt like a little, just like a little, a little animal just like on the side, all scared, you
oh
know.
yeah,
Um, but my first day actually didn't go bad because
mm-hmm.
I met these girls from Venezuela, which are now my best friends.
Oh nice, okay,
So
yeah,
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 it was a very hard like thing to adjust to,
mm-hmm.
but thanks to them, I like it was they helped a lot. Like they
Yeah,
helped me in my social life. They helped me meet people. Like they made it a little easier for me to adjust.
Yeah. How
So
nice.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I started having little by little more support, which was like helping.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that helped you go through.
yeah. And I was
Uh,
also trying to just like help my family. I was
mm-hmm.
trying to just like learn from that for them,
Yeah.
and then like just put all of me for them, if that makes sense.
So do
Yeah.
you think like, I guess now you've kind of been able to like adapt a little bit, like more, become more independent. Do you think that now you're doing stuff more for yourself rather than like
Yeah.
specifically for your parents?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went through a couple. It has okay. So when I moved here, I felt like I was young, but I still felt like I lost myself trying
Mm.
to just adjust but also help out. So
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't really balancing it good because I was like suffering a lot trying to adjust to everything and also trying to
Right.
help them
So
out.
you were like trying to help others a lot, but then at the same time you're losing
Yeah.
yourself a
And
little
then
bit.
that
Okay.
happened again last year,
Mm.
trying to do the same thing because I tend to just put them first a lot.
Mm.
And of course, like it makes sense. Like you always want to help your family your best, but
Right.
you have to focus on yourself too.
Mm-hmm.
You can't leave yourself aside just because you're trying to make it better for others. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Mm.
And that's like how I see it now because thankfully I like am better now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Do
I
you
went through
do you
some
feel like
moments.
you've kind of helped them enough, or do you get like that feeling of like always wanting to like keep helping them more and more and
I
more?
do still want to do it,
Yeah.
but I know how it can make me feel afterwards
Mm-hmm.
or how like it can affect me.
Mm-hmm.
So I know how to like balance it more to
Okay.
keep like okay, like you can help them all you want, but like don't forget about how you're feeling,
Right. So
if
you're
that
saying
makes
that you've been
sense.
able to like um kind of know where your limit is,
Yes.
right? And find out.
Exactly. Yeah.
Uh,
And it's very hard for me to talk about how I feel.
yeah.
So, which is another thing that I've been able to like let go of. Like I can bring the wall down. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I think you mentioned to me before that um what you used to do is you used to write stuff down when you came here
Yes.
because you
Uh-huh.
didn't really know how to express yourself, right?
Yeah.
So you just like wrote down your feelings and stuff.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have like a little journal that if I'm like feeling like very like tense and it's just
Yeah.
like I feel like I can't take it anymore,
Yeah.
I just write it down and it actually makes me feel a lot better.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do that as well. Like there are times where like I can't really communicate my thoughts to like people, right?
Mm-hmm. Because it's
And the
harder
best way
to
to do it
talk.
is just
Yeah.
to kind of write it down,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I get that.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. And so so that's okay, so that's pretty crazy. You've kind of gone through quite a bit of life
Yeah.
so far.
I know.
um so as of like today, how are you? I guess how are you feeling today? Like,
I feel good to like now. I'm good.
you're
Like
feeling a
I
lot
feel
better,
like
yeah.
I overcame a lot.
Yeah, it kind of
Like
sounds like the whole process in and of itself was like a challenge, right?
yeah, but I feel like afterwards I just look back and I'm like, wow, like I went through that and I'm here now, like
Yeah.
I go to a good university. I'm studying something that I like.
Mm-hmm.
I have a very good group of friends. I
Mm-hmm.
have a very nice boyfriend that supports me a lot. And yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
now it's good. Yeah.
Sweet. Because I've noticed that like when people tend to go through different changes in life,
Mm-hmm.
they it's not necessarily like growing. They don't feel like they're growing. They're just
Mm-hmm.
constantly just having to change, and they can't seem
Yeah.
to like be comfortable where they're at, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they don't feel like they're personally growing, right?
Yeah.
But it kind of sounds like you kind of pulled through, right?
Yeah.
You're doing great. You're at CSUB, right?
Yeah.
Like and majoring in criminal justice.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna be working in the FBI, you said, or
Hopefully.
that's the
Yeah,
goal,
that's my
working in
goal.
the
Yeah.
FBI. Yeah, so you're goal driven,
Yeah.
right? And you know, props to you because
Thank you.
I'm trying to put myself in your shoes and realizing that like so like for example my parents are from Guatemala, right?
Yeah.
And they always tell me stories of like how hard it is to be able to like get here from Guatemala, right? And
Mm-hmm.
cross the border, and all that stuff,
Yeah.
right? um but I can never put myself in their shoes in that
Yeah.
sense, right? And I won't be able to put myself in yours either, right? But the
Yeah.
best I can do is understand you and comprehend and
Mm-hmm.
be sympathetic towards your story and all
Yeah.
that. And it truly is an inspiring story, right? It's be able to come
Mm-hmm.
here, not know absolutely anything, right? About like, you know, like
Yeah.
imagine all the culture shocks, like I said, you've
Yeah.
gone through. Um, and then be like the bigger sister in the sense that you're helping everyone out, right?
Yeah.
Putting every other's person or every other family member needs
Above you,
first,
yeah.
right? And so,
Hmm.
um, and it's kind of worked out for you in the end, right?
Yeah.
You're doing really well.
Yeah. Like you said, I feel like I did grow a lot.
Yeah,
Like
like
I
yeah,
didn't just get stuck or like moved from different thing to the other. I felt like it just like came out good at the end. Like there was a good ending to
yeah. I mean, like some
the
changes
challenges.
necessary, right? Some
Yes, of
moves are
course.
necessary.
Hmm.
And maybe this was it, right? And
Yeah.
it sounds like you kind of just accepted um, you just accepted the transition, right? You didn't like
Yes, of
it didn't
course.
seem like you were like trying to fight it or escape it
Yeah.
or anyway. And
Hmm.
um, and it took time, but
Hmm.
clearly, you know, you're
Yeah.
making your way now, right?
Yeah.
And that's awesome. So proud
Yeah.
of you. That's
Yeah.
that's so
Thank
cool.
you.
So I guess one of my questions now I guess would be like what are you looking forward to now? Right? Considering you've everything that you've been through.
Hmm.
Well, before we even get to that, like, what have you learned? I guess from all of,
From all of this,
so let's say like the transition part, like,
yeah,
because that's probably like the major part of
yeah,
your life, right?
I know it's basic to say, but I just now I have the mindset to always be positive about things,
Right.
to
So
not see the
optimistic, right?
bad side
Yeah.
of
Yeah. Yeah.
everything,
That's awesome.
and to like of course not give up.
Hmm.
Because like if I would have given up, then I feel like I wouldn't be where I'm at right now.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I just always see it like even if something bad is happening, I'm like, you know what, there's gonna be a positive side. There's gonna
Hmm.
be something positive coming, and like after this hard thing passes, I'm gonna be fine.
Yeah.
That's just
So
how I see it now.
right. Like, so when my grandma passed, one of the things that she told me was that when something bad happens, something good is always going to replace it, right?
Yeah.
And so kind of sounds like you have that mindset a little bit,
Yeah,
right?
I do. Hmm.
And it's inspiring.
Thanks.
So that's awesome. And
Yeah.
um, so I mean, in that sense, I guess what were like some of like the culture shocks that you just as briefly, like, what were some of the culture shocks that really got to you, like when you came here?
Probably the food.
The food,
Yeah, that was
yeah,
like a
the
big one.
food.
Other than just like all the struggles, I feel like the food was very important because like in Chile we have like a bunch of like food from there, like all the culture and everything.
Mm,
But then here I just came and they were like just, hamburgers and things like that. And for me it was different.
yeah,
Because of course, yeah, there are hamburgers and things in Chile, but it's just like
yeah.
it was like wow, like I can't even find certain things that I would find over there.
Uh,
So that was like a little
did you feel a
shocking.
difference in like the quality of the food?
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everything over there is more like handmade,
Okay. Yeah.
right? It's like
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
like somebody's making it, somebody's doing it. But here I feel like it's just more like bought. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to Guatemala a couple of times, and I remember seeing like just like people on the side of the street just making
Yeah.
tortillas and stuff, right?
Mhm.
And there's something unique about that, right? Because
Yeah, yeah, of course.
and I feel like um, not that like that the tortilla tasted better or anything, right?
Yeah.
But it was just seeing the process of it done
Exactly. Yes.
uh, just felt a lot more natural, and it felt
Mhm.
something felt good about that.
Yeah.
So I get it. Is there another one, or
Mm.
what about the people? I'm guessing the people
Oh
are a
yeah,
little different, right?
the people. Yeah, that's a good one.
How are the people over there?
I personally think people over there are a little more welcoming.
Oh, more welcoming. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because in my school we did have some kids from here, from the
Hmm.
United States, that there were three boys, I think.
Okay.
It was kind of like a similar situation to my sisters and I coming here,
Yeah.
but they went over there. And they like everybody was very welcoming towards them. Like
Hmm.
we would try to talk to them. They didn't speak Spanish, but we were still like welcoming them. It
Mm.
was like we were trying to talk to them as much as we could. We didn't leave them aside.
Mm.
But here I felt like I was left aside. I wasn't
Yeah.
given the support we give, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
it's
at
very
least that's in like the school, you know what I mean? Like
okay.
for younger
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's more like individualistic here.
I think
people kind of
so.
keep to themselves a little bit more.
Yeah, a little more.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I've noticed as well.
Mhm.
And because when I went to Guatemala, people were just so much like you said,
Mhm.
much more welcoming. They would
Yeah.
uh have no problem in helping you in
Yeah.
anything else, like anything that
Mhm.
you needed, right? So and that's one of the reasons why I started the podcast. To be honest, is to kind of build more connection
Yeah.
with
Makes sense.
one another, right? And because I
Mhm.
feel like we need a little bit more, yeah.
Yeah. You do.
And so yeah, I mean, so that's quite the story we've had so far, right? Who knows what 20, 20, 30 years from now where you're gonna be, right?
Yeah.
Right, that's gonna
Who
be
knows?
crazy. Yeah.
I know.
Um, but it sounds like you got your future goals set. It sounds
Yeah.
like your
Mhm.
family seems to be doing okay because of you,
Yeah.
right? And so
We're all good now.
um, you're doing great. Is what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say.
I am.
And
Thank
so
you.
all right. So hopefully um I think I have a few questions to ask you, some rapid fire
Yeah.
questions. Well, they're meant to be rapid fire, but you can answer for
Okay.
take as long as you want to answer them. So, all right.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead, choose.
Scared. Do I read it?
Yeah, yeah, go for it.
Can I choose another one or do I have to answer this one?
Um, I guess we can do this one. Yeah.
Okay.
It says I recently made a solo episode on how to suppress mediocrity. If you guys haven't seen it, go ahead and check it
Okay.
out. And it says, how do you think we suppress mediocrity? Because you,
That's a
by
good
the way, are
question.
no average person, right? You've
Mhm.
clearly from your story,
Yeah.
um, what you've told us here today, you're no average person.
Mhm.
You're doing really well. So how were you able to, instead of mediocrity, let's say a challenge, how were you able to surpass like your challenges?
I feel like I said before, like not giving up, like
Just not
just
giving up. Yeah.
yeah, like keep
But I,
working on it and not seeing it as like everything is bad. If that makes
yeah.
sense, you know.
It's interesting though, because like, um, those thoughts or that mindset has to have come from somewhere,
Mhm.
right? So we can apply it afterwards, but they
Yeah.
have to have come from somewhere, right?
Mhm.
Um, where do you think yours came from? Like,
I feel like my dad
oh yeah,
probably.
yeah.
My dad will always tell us like just like be positive, be positive. You know, like
So it's kind of
he
instilled in you,
yeah.
yeah.
And yeah, I feel like from early on he was just always like said like I don't remember exactly what he used to say, but he used to say something about being positive.
Mm-hmm.
And that just like kind of stuck like it just stayed with me.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's mainly where I got it from. My dad.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. That makes
Mhm.
sense. All right. Choose one
Another
more.
one?
Yeah. Did I put the L one in back in?
Yeah.
Oh shoot.
I think that's another one question.
Oh. All right. Well, I guess just pick one and see.
We could just do the one that you got. There you go.
All right. It says, is there anyone that you look up to as a role model and why?
It would probably have to be my parents. Like
Your
both of them,
parents.
yeah.
Yeah.
My mom grew up very poor
Yeah.
and she was still able to graduate from school. Go. She wasn't able to finish college
Mm-hmm.
because of their economic situation,
Yeah.
but she was gonna be a civil engineer. She was
Okay.
in her last year when they couldn't keep paying for it.
Dang, man.
But
Yeah.
that didn't really bring her down.
Mm-hmm.
She never really sees that as a, like, oh, I wish, like, of course she wishes to have finished, but she doesn't make it like, oh, like, because of
Mm-hmm.
this, like, I can't do this,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Like,
Okay.
she doesn't see life that way. And
Mm.
I admire that so much because if you're doing what you love and then, like, it stops because of money, like,
Yeah.
you feel like it's not fair, right?
Mm. Like
But
the
she
world's
doesn't
against you a little bit.
exactly.
Yeah, it wasn't meant to be.
But
Yeah.
she never really made, at least she never had to put that on us, if that makes sense.
Nice.
Because
So
some
she kind of kept
parents,
that to herself.
yeah, she
Yeah.
always kept it to herself. And of course, she wants us to push through and like finish school and everything.
Right.
But that's just like a parent thing, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, well, my dad, he he created a name for himself.
Nice. Very cool.
Everything that he
Yeah.
has, like, he got it from zero. Like, he did everything. He got help from his parents to get through school,
Mm-hmm.
but everything else, like being here in the United States, was all through his hard work. Everything was just on him. He worked his whole life just to get where he's at, and I
Mm-hmm.
admired that so much.
Mm. Yeah.
So yeah,
So he clearly deserves everything he's
yeah, he
gotten,
does.
right? Yeah.
Mhm.
That's amazing. Amazing.
And
All
I
right.
like to tell him that I'm proud, just so he
Oh
knows.
yeah. Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah.
Good. 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 All
Another
right.
one.
Last one. This is our last one.
This one.
All right. Let's see. Can you share any upcoming projects or goals that you're excited about?
Well, something that I can think of is getting my own car.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. Yeah.
something like that I'm very excited about because I think like getting something that big for yourself is kind of like a good,
Mm-hmm.
I think for me that's like my number one goal, at least what I'm saving for, and I'm
For a
very
car.
excited
Do you
for
know?
that.
Do you know what car you want?
I don't know yet,
Yeah.
but I'm saving for a
Yeah.
car for myself. Yeah, that I'll
Nice.
have to like, like it just doesn't just give me more freedom, but it's like it's not something I have to hang on to my parents for, if that makes
Mm.
sense.
Yeah. Okay.
So
So,
that's
so I
something.
think so. It sounds like you're actually you're getting to the point where um you kind of want to do things on your own. You don't want to like kind of
Yeah.
depend on your parents right now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
More
Well, my car's
towards.
a definitely a good start. Yeah.
Yeah, it
So,
is. But yeah,
cool.
hopefully I can get to that.
And then you
Yeah.
said you FBI. You said you wanted to
Yeah.
get into that. So,
That's more towards the future though. It's
yeah.
a long process.
Yeah.
Well, what I do want to do is graduate, of course.
Right. Yeah. Why
Yeah.
the FBI? That's kind of a tough
Why
job.
exactly? I don't know, but I've always been a big fan of like true crime and like everything like that. And like in a way, I also just want to help people.
Yeah.
I want to be
Okay.
able to be there for people that go through like hard things
Mm.
that are very traumatic, and I just want
Mm-hmm.
to be there to help out,
Mm.
And I would basically have the power to do things for people because the FBI is kind of it's something very top. So I just want to be able to help out and actually giving like being in the FBI like allows you to do that. It
Mm.
allows you to, like be known a little more and like for people to give you more respect.
Mm-hmm.
And if I have respect, I'm allowed to help others. If that makes
Okay.
sense. That's
Okay.
how I see it because it's like if people respect me, then if I want them to respect you, they will. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
That's something like that.
Mm.
You know? Yeah.
Sweet. All right.
Mhm.
Well, there you have it, guys. There you have it. As you guys can tell, Tutu is or Maria, sorry. She's a lovely person who's gone through so many challenges so far already in life and has been able to overcome them. Right. So she's not exaggerating to say that she's an inspiration, right, to me
Mhm.
and to clearly her family and to others, right? And so I'm proud of what she's done. I'm proud of what she will do.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm here to support her in any way, shape I can, any way, shape, or form I can, right? So congrats on making it this
Thank
far.
you. Thank you.
Hopefully, you guys learned a little bit about her story a little bit. Um, it was because of her that I started learning about Chile a little bit, and uh, and I even started looking into the FBI a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because her story is definitely inspiring, like I said, right? And so, thank you for coming on.
Yeah. Thank you for
Appreciate it.
inviting me.
Yeah,
It was nice to share.
it was a pleasure
Yeah.
to hear your story, and so,
Thank you.
um, maybe as the podcast continues to grow and all that, maybe you can come back on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Happily.
yeah,
Yeah. Thank you.
sweet. All right,
Mhm.
guys. There you have it. Until the next episode, right? So.